Yeah, so spiritual genius is this is part four. Uh where I'm going to read for you 12 verses summarizing the analysis of the six transcendences, and generosity and the rest have each analyzed under six headings. I will read for you all this. The six headings are reality, cause, result, activity, endowment, and function. And I will now start reading by reading for you two verses on the analysis of generosity, and I will start. The wise person should truly practice generosity, having understood it as motivating the presenting of gifts to beings, as based fundamentally in the will, as leading to perfection of wealth and body, as caring for both self and society, as completing the stores, as being endowed with freedom and avarice, and as the giving of the teaching of goods and of security. Commentary. The presentation of gifts to those who receive them is the reality of generosity. It is caused by the volition that naturally emerges from freedom from greed and so on. It results in perfection of wealth and of future life embodiment, which includes length of life as explained in the scripture on the 5 points. Its activity is assistance to self and other and completion of the stores of merit and wisdom that become great enlightenment. Its endowment with freedom from avarice is present among those who are not avaricious. Its function is analyzed into the giving of the teaching of material goods and of security. Okay? Now I'll read for you two verses on the analysis of morality. The wise person should practice morality, having understood it thus as follows: as having six elements, as aimed at the realization of serenity, as granting good lives and stability, as serving as basis, peace, and fearlessness, as endowed with the store of merit, and as attained conventionally or naturally on the part of those ordained in vows. Okay? Commentary. A long one. Be ready. Its reality is that it has six elements. The six elements are those traditionally mentioned from living morality. She is ordained in an individual liberation vow. Up to, quote unquote, she disciplines herself in her commitments to the precepts, end of quote. Quote unquote, aimed at the realization of serenity indicates its course because one takes it up with ambition for nirvana. Okay? Quote unquote, granting good lives and stability indicates its result because by morality one goes to good migrations, and because the mind becomes stabilized through freedom from discontent and so on, respectively. Quote unquote, basis, peace, and fearlessness indicates its activity. Morality is the basis of all virtue, is peace, pacifying the burning of the addictions, and is fearlessness because fear, sin, and enmity based on killing and so forth are not produced. Its endowment is the store of merit because one always preserves the activities of body, speech, and mind. Okay? At, quote unquote, attained conventionally or naturally on the part of those ordained in vows describes its function. Quote unquote, attained conventionally refers to morality cultivated through vows of individual liberation, and attained naturally refers to morality cultivated through vows of the contemplative and the uncontaminated realms. This analyzes its three types of functions and, quote unquote, on the part of those ordained in vows, indicates its ground of function. I will now read for you two verses on the analysis of tolerance. The wise person should practice tolerance, having understood it thus, as patience, endurance, and knowledge, as arising from compassion and the support of the teaching, as taught to have five benefits, as accomplishing the aims of both self and society, as universally supreme asceticism, and as considered threefold on the part of those who are tolerant. Okay, commentary. Guess this will be the last, and then we do part 5. Quote unquote, patience, endurance, and knowledge is the reality of the threefold tolerance. The tolerance which is patient with harm. Here, patience means being patient. The tolerance which endures suffering. The tolerance which embodies the teaching, respectively. From compassion and the support of the teaching indicates, that was quote unquote, indicates its causes, quote unquote, support of the teaching, showing how it is undertaken through morality and incorporated from learning. Taught to have 5 benefits, indicates its result as it is stated in scripture as follows, and I read in quotes. There are 5 benefits of tolerance: not much enmity, not much divisiveness, abundance of happiness and joy, ability to face death without regret, and rebirth in exalted heavens after the loss of the body. Loss of the body. Quote unquote, accomplishing the aims of both self and society, close quote, indicates its activity of patience and endurance, as it is stated, quote unquote, he who accomplishes the aims of both self and others is the one who, while aware of others' anger, immediately controls his own anger. Okay, quote unquote, universally supreme asceticism, close end of quote, indicates its endowment as it is said, colon, quote unquote, open quote, tolerance is the supreme austerity, end of quote, open quote, on the part of those, end of quote, indicates the ground of its functions, since it functions among the tolerant. Quote unquote, considered threefold indicates the analysis of its function, as already stated in the threefold analysis of the reality of tolerance. And I will see you in part 5, where I will read for you more verses, starting with the verse on the analysis of effort. And I will end this part there for now. Then I will upload the video on TikTok, and then once the upload is complete, I can do the next video discussing analysis of effort. And basically this content is basically a build up, so that means it would be recommended to watch the previous series and parts in order to stay with me in the new parts and series as we progress. And please let me know in case you have any questions, concerns, or critique. You can leave it down there in the comment sections, and I will be happy to respond. Until then, bye bye.